Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, the first novel coronavirus outside China recorded in the Philippines.
We need to take into mind that this is not a locally acquired case.
The government imposing a total ban on passengers arriving from China.
If there is an available flight coming from China, then you can take that flight.
But is the move a bit late to prevent the coronavirus spread?
I don't know if Anakalusugan is the right word, but there were flights that arrived after 9:48, after the declaration of this new guidance.
And how can we stop the so-called hate amid the 2019 nCoV outbreak? Anakalusugan Partylist Representative Mike Defensor and Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines President Dr. Rustico Jimenez join us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. The death toll from the 2019 novel coronavirus outbreak breaching the 300 mark, and the first death outside China has been recorded here in the Philippines. Health authorities, however, assure the public that there's no reason to panic. The government also expands its travel ban to prevent the coronavirus spread, and it will now cover all foreigners coming from China, Hong Kong, and Macau. What else can be done? In dealing with the coronavirus outbreak, are hospitals equipped to handle suspected 2019 nCoV cases? Let's go straight to the source of the story. House Committee on Health Vice Chairman and Anakalusugan Partylist Representative Mike Defensor. Congressman.
Yes, Pinky, good
Welcome
morning.
back. Good
Thank
to see you again. So it's the first death, I'm sure marami sa ating nagulat, first death outside of China. Are you worried?
Actually, yesterday, when I was talking about it, nagkaroon kasi ng parang media forum and we were discussing it, sinabi ko nga na based on the WHO, because that is the only basis we have to see what they're posting, what's the development. Ang sabi nila, the girl has asymptomatic, no? So, walang symptoms to, walang fever. And then I was surprised, someone mentioned na namatay na yung lalaki. Sabi ko, sino yung lalaki? So this was the guy who accompanied the lady. No? Supposedly they were on honeymoon, went to Cebu connected to Dumaguete. So yeah, so it was never reported because they said he was never tested positive anyway. But it just developed, I guess, in one day, 24 hours, then he died. So yung babae, she's still okay. But unfortunately, the guy didn't survive. So it's the first death here in the Philippines based on the one virus.
Kagulat-gulat.
Well, nakakagulat kasi hindi siya na-report eh. Hindi natin siya nalaman eh. It was only the girl reported. Hindi natin alam na may kasama pa pala siya.
Yun yung palaisipan kasi. Even before we went on air, Congressman Defensor and I were talking about it. Isa lang kasi confirmed, the 38-year-old woman, and then all of a sudden there was a second one, her companion, the 44-year-old male, who was the one who died, who was never reported as positive to begin with. But they were saying he had pneumonia.
Well, they said he had pneumonia, but sabi niya, hindi nga daw siya nag-test for coronavirus. But again, the authorities quarantined him anyway.
Yeah.
And he was being, both were being observed, yung babae at saka yung lalaki. Pero yun nga, unfortunately, siya hindi nag-survive.
Right.
So sinasabi din nila, I don't want to speculate, pero may mga reports sinasabi, mas mahira yung immune system nitong lalaki.
Nung male. Okay, good. We shouldn't because it's best to leave this really to the health officials.
That's right.
Kasi sila talagang nakakaalam dyan. We can just keep wondering, and we'll try to get the answers from the health officials. How are we supposed to view this now if it's the first death outside of China?
Well, una sa lahat, I'd first go to the travel restriction. It came out. And I've been reading the WHO updates on the one virus and travel restrictions. Sinasabi nila hindi kailangan magkaroon ng travel restriction. That is the recommendation. Pero ang sinasabi nga nila, kailangan magkaroon ng focus doon sa mga, kung gusto man ng isang bansa, doon sa mga pumapasok coming from China or particularly coming from Wuhan. Well, to be factual about it, yung Wuhan, hindi mo na kailangan ng travel restriction kasi hindi na sila pinapayagan lumabas since right after the Chinese New Year. So sa ngayon, ang nangyayari, kailangan ma-check talaga, ang immediate indication is high fever. No, pag nakita mo yung ganito, i-quarantine ka agad. And supposedly naman, and I guess the Chinese authorities and the Chinese people accept this, kung sila i-quarantine for observation purposes, okay lang naman din sa kanila. Ngayon, ang ating Pangulo nagsalita na talagang total ban for 14 days, not only of Chinese nationals, but those who have traveled or who have passed by China. So indirectly, lumipad from Hong Kong, Macau, China, coming to the Philippines, o yung mga dumaan sa mga bansang to in the past days, no? So that they will not be allowed entry except for Filipino citizens. So I guess tama rin ng Pangulo kasi ang hirap nga naman eh, yung resources natin, yung pag-monitor. And I'd like to commend the DOH for being able to immediately monitor itong dalawang Chinese nationals. And from what I know, from yesterday's reports, that the PNP has already been working along with the DOH and other officials, especially the airlines, that the couple took and the resort officials, or I mean the resort people that they went to, kung saan sila nakisalamuha. So, there's really strict monitoring, and I'd like to commend Secretary Duque and the Department of Health for doing their job and for continuing their vigilance in monitoring the coronavirus virus.
Okay. A number of points you raised, you want to commend the health officials. Sir, I just want to go back to the history of the male and female. They arrived January 21.
Yes.
Sila ho ang mismong nagpunta sa ospital noong 25.
Yes.
Dahil sila po ang nakaramdam
Yes.
ng some sort of symptom, right? So, what I'm trying to say is, it was through their own volition kaya po sila nagpunta sa hospital. Otherwise, if they didn't go, they'd probably, I don't know, still be elsewhere. What I'm trying to say, sir, is that when they entered the Philippines on January 21, hindi po sila na-detect.
Yes.
So,
Well, Pinky,
How can
number
you-
one, my son is studying in China. He came home before Chinese New Year. In fact, as of now, kasi dapat nakabalik siya ng first week of February. So sinabi ng school authorities, no, you cannot come back. You will be, you can arrive at the 7th of February, and then it was now postponed to the 17th. So ngayon, naghihintay pa rin sila ng monitoring. But consistently, minomonitor sila ng government of China. In fact, there are emails, where are you now?
Oh,
We would
okay.
like to know what's happening, blah, blah, blah. Are you sick? Is there any indication?
saan ho siya sa China?
In Ningbo. That is, Ningbo is near Shanghai, which is also near Wuhan. It's not so near, but it's not so far. It's within more or less, in the, not central China, but more or less in that area. Ngayon, ang binabanggit ko lang naman, kasi maraming nagkakasakit, maraming pumupunta sa ospital.
Opo.
Diba? Maraming nagsasabi, inuubo sila.
Opo.
But the fact that DOH was able to pinpoint this couple and to ensure the quarantine of this couple is, for me, a good indication that we're really working. Can you imagine if this couple went to the Adventist supposedly hospital that they went to
Apo.
at pinabayaan na lang sila and there was no report. But these people were told, go to this hospital, and then the hospital reported the DOH. So there's really that monitoring. Now, at that time, from the 21st, wala pa yung crisis eh. No, in fact, my son was here at the time and there was still no crisis. The crisis happened right after the Chinese New Year. So that is why...
Chinese New Year's Jan 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, until the end of February,
Okay.
yung second week of February. So they were able to trace that. Kaya medyo nagkamali din yung Hubei province of China. Kasi nga nangyari, I don't want to speculate, but I have friends from China. My son was studying there. I was monitoring what's happening. But I guess they did not reveal the information that something was happening.
Right.
But eventually when it was found out, immediately there was a lockdown.
Okay, point taken, sir. Yung January 21, hindi pa maingay
Yes.
at hindi pa talaga pinag-uusapan dahil ng
Yes.
matindi, no? But January 25, I believe, I'm gonna check it during the break, was, I believe, Chinese New Year. If not, it was January 20.
The last week of January, yes.
Yeah. All right. We'll be taking a short break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Anakalusugan Partylist Representative Mike Defensor. And joining us now on the phone, Dr. Rustico Jimenez. He's president of the Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines. Dr. Jimenez, welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, Pinky and Congressman Defensor.
Doc, tanungin ko lang po, kamusta po ang inyong reaction or the doctor's reaction on the first recorded death of the novel coronavirus here in the Philippines, which is outside of China, sir?
Mabuti po yung isolate na siya because we will not be able to transmit the virus. Mabuti, natuwa nga ko yung sinabi ni Congressman Defensor na mabuti na isolate na kaagad ng DOH yung dalawang pasyente na positive sa ating novel virus.
Doc, ano ho ang sasabihin niyo sa mga taong posibleng nangangamba dahil nga doon sa pagkamatay ng male na companion ni female dyan po sa ospital, sa San Lazaro? I mean, posible pong mangamba yung mga tao doon, yung staff, and possibly even the patients.
Isolated naman po yung pinaglalagyan sa dalawang pasyente na sinasabi ni Secretary Duque. So, yung ginagamit po nila, meron silang PPE. So, hopefully yung mga ginamit nila ay disinfected o naitapo na ho kagad para hindi na po maka-infect sa mga ibang health workers sa San Lazaro Hospital.
Sa Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines, Doc, meron na ho bang mandate o SOP? Meron ho ba kayong naging meeting regarding how to address this problem of yung mga pasyenteng dumadating na posibleng suspected novel coronavirus patients?
In fairness to WHO, for the past week or two, they are already visiting our hospitals, telling us what to do. Then of course, sa mga private hospitals, required po ito na meron kang infectious room na in case dumating ang isang pasyente, doon mo siya dadalhin para ang limited lang po yung mga exposed na empleyado. And then, they are protected by PPE para hindi na po maka-spread sa general public sa hospital.
Yung sinasabi niyo pong required na isolation room, would you say that every private hospital under the PHAPI, sir, has this isolation room?
Opo, kasi po requirement po yan sa lisensya ng DOH. We are visited once a year bago magbigay ng approval ng lisensya po namin for the year na meron kong isolation room.
And normally, ilan ho ang kasya sa isang isolation room? I mean, so ilan pong pasyente sa isolation room ang available sa bawat kwarto?
Isa lang po.
So one room only?
Opo.
Obviously for one patient?
Opo.
Papaano ho kung dalawa o tatlo yung suspected case, sir?
Kaya nga po, dapat meron pong triage before you enter the emergency room of the hospital. Doon po sasalain kung hindi naman po galing sa nagbiyahe, hindi po possible na infected ng virus. Para isolated na sila, ang titingin lang po sa kanila ay limited na tao, isang nurse o isang doktor lang, para na hindi makasama doon sa mga general public sa hospital.
Yeah, that's actually my question, Doc. So yung mga posibleng suspected na case, hindi po sila dinediretso sa ER, tama ho ba?
Opo. Meron pong separate room na nag-i-examinan sa kanila before you go inside the hospital.
I see. Kasi baka ho yung ibang tao ay iniisip that they go straight to the emergency room. I guess they don't. So, Doc Jimenez, ibig sabihin, kunwari po ako, gusto kong pumasok at nangangamba ko, doon pa lang sa ER, dadalhin na po ako sa ibang lugar, ganun ho ba? Patutulo na pa kayo ng guardia na dito lahat yung i-filter kung sino po yung possible na merong virus. So hindi diretso sa from the ER, dadaling ka na sa ibang kwarto, sir.
Opo.
Doc, paano ho kaya yung mga suspected patients? Posible ho kayang nadi-discriminate sila?
Hindi naman po kasi sabi nga po, mas less ang virility nitong virus na to if you will compare the nangyari sa atin sa SARS, sa MERS-CoV, mas grabe po yung mga namatay doon percentage-wise. So, kung tutusin po, madaling mamatay itong virus na to, kaya lang kailangan tayo talaga mag-ingat sa ating sarili. Yung hand washing po with soap and water, at kung may ubo at sipon, mag-mask na po sila. And then, pag hindi naman po kailangan, wag na po mag-mask. And kasi mauubusan po tayo ng supply na kailangan ng ating mga health workers.
Parang ang hirap ho sabihin yan ngayon sa publiko knowing na meron na pong namatay dito sa
Takot sila.
Pilipinas.
Opo, totoo po yun. Pero siyempre po, we still based on clinical studies na
Yeah.
all over the world.
Yeah. Actually, paulit-ulit din naman natin pwedeng sabihin yan, ano, Congressman
Yes.
and Doc. Ang sinasabi talaga, number one is malinis ang katawan, hand washing, and never touch your face if your hands are dirty. Tapos pangalawa kung pangalawa pa lang si face mask.
Actually, Pinky, pati ngayon, I've read sa WHO, huwag kakain ng hilaw.
Oo nga.
So
Tanungin
yung-
natin si Doc.
Yes,
Doc,
so-
what about that? Yung sinasabing wag kumain ng hilaw.
Mga Japanese
Kasi
food.
po maraming pwedeng even yung yung pag-inom ng diretso from a bottle, pwede po magkaroon yun ng isang mikrobyo o bulate na pwedeng pumunta sa sa bibig mo. So kailangan po kung iinom tayo from the bottle, from the can, kailangan po natin sa sa baso o kaya para may pasa, hindi yung diretso from the can kasi minsan tayo nagmamadali na diretso na tayo sa can. Sometimes yung can po meron ding mikrobyo o virus.
So you're talking about juice o kaya soft drinks na nasa can,
Opo,
Doc?
opo.
So
Kasi in-advise natin din uminom ng maraming tubig o juice ang ating mga pasyente.
Opo. So isala muna sa baso.
Opo. Mas mabuti po kasi
Okay.
there are already some studies na merong nakakalusot po ng mga mikrobyo dun sa mismong can.
Doc, just the last question. Would you say that the Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines, sir, yung mga miyembro niyo po is ready for this novel coronavirus sakali pong madagdagan po ang mga suspected cases?
Ready po ang mga private hospitals. And of course, we have to listen to all the press release ng DOH and WHO kasi
Yeah.
po sila ang talagang nakakaintindi dito. Huwag po tayo makikinig doon sa mga ibang news na hindi naman po confirmed. So, huwag lang po magkaroon ng epidemic at hopefully mangyari po yung nangyari sa atin sa SARS at MERS-CoV. Wala pong masyadong darating na cases dito sa atin at wala naman sigurong hopefully na walang mamatay na Pilipino.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo, Happy President Dr. Rustico Jimenez.
Marami po.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. Congressman, would you like to react to some of the statements made by Dr.
Yes,
Rustico?
gusto ko lang supportan yung sinabi ni Dr. Rustico kasi yung binabanggit niya, mababa yung mortality rate. As of now, last week, yung data was 8,000. Now it's been 17,000, ang namatay is about 300 plus. So that's about 2%. Yung SARS na binanggit niya, which happened in 2002, 8,000 cases, 774 deaths. So mga nasa 10%. Yung pinakamalala was H1N1, di ba? At 1.6 million ang affected, 284,000 deaths. So ang ibig sabihin yung coronavirus na to, as of now, napakababa ng mortality rate na nakikita natin. So parang nagugulat lang ako kasi nga doon sa social media, sa maraming mga lumalabas, in fact, kailan lang nagulat ako dito sa Adamson University.
Why?
Sinabi niya na bawal pumasok muna yung mga Chinese at bawal yung graduate and undergraduate students at bawal muna silang pumunta sa university. Kung titingnan mo yung kay Pangulong Duterte, klaro yung kanya no nationality, basta foreign, lumipad directly from China or dumaan, except for Filipino citizens. Ito, naging parang racist yung kanilang sulat na pag Chinese lang, bawal na. So I'd like to appeal to those doing that na hindi naman dapat pwede yun. At hindi naman dapat tayo mag-discriminate. Bagkus, dapat
Against the
tulungan pa nga natin against the Chinese.
That's it. You were saying that all foreigners except permanent residents who
Exactly.
travel to China, Hong Kong, and Macau 14 days before traveling to the Philippines. That's the order of the president, which happened yesterday, was implemented yesterday. So Congressman Defensor saying the president's not just looking at Chinese residents,
Yes.
he's looking at any nationality
Yes.
who passed by China, Macau, Hong Kong.
Yes, and Pink, ito nangyari itong parang itong hate campaign, no? It's not only happening in the Philippines, it started in Europe, may maraming lumalabas tungkol dito. Sa atin naman, nung una, siyempre may mga biro lang muna na lumalabas na yung mga kinakain nila. But, I think we have to stop this. We have
Yeah.
to, pray and to help the people of Wuhan. And in the case of Adamson University, I call in particular Father Manimtim, who signed the memo saying that all Chinese are banned. Hindi naman dapat, paano kung hindi naman siya umalis ng bansa? Hindi naman siya
Beginning
muna
when,
China.
Congressman?
This was issued January 31.
Okay.
Adamson
Let's show
University.
This,
Yes.
This is coming from Congressman. So in response to the worldwide precautionary measures against the nCoV, Adamson University would like to ensure a healthy and virus-free environment. Thus, we have made a decision that all Chinese students, both graduate and undergraduate, observe self-quarantine starting today until Feb 14. 2020. So siguro that's 14 days more or less, Kong. Professors and students are encouraged to maximize the use of our e-learning system. Likewise, all Chinese nationals are also advised to postpone all transactions inside the university until Feb 14. So, huwag ka pumasok basically at huwag kang pumunta sa campus.
Yes.
Yun ang
Paano kung
sinasabi.
Pilipino ka, galing ka ng China? Di ba dapat ikaw yung, technically, ikaw yung dapat na i-quarantine, i-observe. Why would you say Chinese? What if you did not even leave the country? Hindi ka naman lumabas ng bansa. Nandito ka lang. So,
Have you
ito
written
yung-
them, sir?
I've already found this out yesterday, but I've already called them on them publicly. Na kumare, walang ganito. At
Alright.
hindi dapat natin gawin to.
And there's so much also coming out, Congressman, on social media. We're going to show that after the break. For example, that individual na nahulog or nag-faint o parang lifeless doon sa Manila. And another one, in a mall. Apparently, this was a vlogger who sinadya ata palang gawin ito. We'll be talking about that coming up. How to address fake news online. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. This is one of them. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Anakalusugan Partylist Representative Mike Defensor. Sir, it's so hard really to guard against, what goes around social media. I know you saw this one. Let's show. So many people were asking about this yesterday when there was a appeared to be a lifeless person dyan po sa Manila. Lumabas na ang local government of Manila saying that it wasn't a Chinese national. He's actually a Korean who, fainted. I believe he was drunk. Kaya siya nandyan. So that's one. Pero that made the rounds. You saw that as well, right,
Yes,
sir?
of course. Yeah. It was going around and pinagkikwentuhan sa social media, tapos may mga iba-ibang threads in social media. And I guess hindi ko naman minamasama yung ginawa, no? Kasi pero siguro pagka ganon, medyo respect nila yung privacy. Kasi kung totoo, paano kung totoo may sakit yung tao, tapos minidya mo, tapos parang, di ba, should have been reported just
to the authorities. But that's what the vlogger was saying. The one who took it actually was saying that gusto ko sanang ipakalat ito kasi tumawag na ako, sabi niya, sa mga kinauukulan at sana makarating pa ito dahil parang wala pang nagpupunta dyan sa site. There's another one that came out. This is, sadly, this is a vlogger. So he caused a commotion. This is a mall owned by a Chinese businessman after suddenly falling down in front of the main entrance of the mall, pretending daw to be a victim of the coronavirus. So, yan naman ang nangyari dyan. So, the guard was saying that he saw the suspect slowly walking and upon reaching the entrance gate, the man suddenly lay down, pretending he was a victim of the coronavirus. So, the man who did this posted an apology on Facebook rather for pranking as a victim of the coronavirus.
Ako mabuti naman na nag-umingi siya ng pasensya tungkol dito kasi syempre hindi natin maalis kung minsan naglolokohan, nagtatawanan tungkol sa mga bagay-bagay, especially mga Pilipino.
At a time like this, di ba?
Yeah, at a time like this kasi tuloy-tuloy tuloy-tuloy yung sitwasyon sa China, sa Wuhan. 18,000 people are already infected. And yun nga, 64% ng mga nangyaring to, yung mga namatay, nanggaling sa one province, 300 na sila. Kanina, yung kaibigan ko, na nagbakasyon din sila, no? For, yung family niya, but he's really based here, umuwi yung kanyang pamilya. And because there was a ban, they could not anymore take the flight going straight to Hong Kong
Manila.
to Shanghai.
Shanghai.
Yes,
I see.
coming from Manila, going there. So wala na kasi, wala nang return flight eh. So nung kausap ko siya kanina, they had to go via another country. So he was calling me last night kung may ban ba daw going to Japan, kung ano nangyari. So in fact, I had to call some people just to ask.
Yeah.
Pero sabi nga niya sa akin, naintindihan ko naman, Mike, kasi syempre, given yung situation sa Philippines, kung magkakaroon ng epidemic, kawawa naman yung maraming tao. As much as possible, yes, we have to try to prevent it. Because sabi ko naman sa kanya, pasensya ka na. I understand, hindi naman kailangan pa ng ban, but you have to understand our government, we have to protect our people. In fact, sabi ko, limited lang naman to 14 days.
So you don't think it came, some were saying this ban came a little too late by the president?
Actually, to this date, there is no recommendation from the WHO
Okay.
for a ban. But I guess, yeah, as I've said, no, yung resources natin, health-wise, is very limited. Paano kung magkaroon ng epidemic? Paano kung magkaroon ng problema? And if you're looking at just 14 days of banning relative to a situation where you have an epidemic in the country na maraming magkakasakit, kawawa naman.
Okay.
Ako naniniwala, Pinky, na yung sinabi kanina ni Doc na Rustico na okay, hindi siya ganun ka-fatal. Pero kung ikaw mahirap, wala kang pera pambayad, wala kang perang panggamot, antibiotics, kung ano pang kailangan mo, eh baka ikamatay ng marami sa atin. So I would support the ban and it's better to err in caution at this stage.
Right. Okay. Anything else we can do, just very quickly? Meron pa kayong naiisip na pwede pang i-implement ngayon?
Well, ako, katulad ng ginagawa ng Chinese government, if possible, lahat talaga ng umuwi before the Chinese New Year. Because if you can see the indication from 21 to 25, meron naman tayong bulletin nun eh. The airlines can provide us that.
Manifest.
Baka pwedeng mas lalo pa natin ma-focus.
So check, have yourselves checked, especially those during that
Of course,
time.
yes.
Okay. Maraming salamat kay Congressman Mike Defensor. Thank you, sir. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.